Welcome to Anderson Penn's Sunday Brunch Menu 22 for Sunday, February 25th, 2023. Brian.
Eric.
How are you?
Are we shaking hands
I
now?
guess so. We haven't done this in so long. I mean, I haven't seen you in 13 months.
We had to watch a video to look and see how we
How
start.
we used to do this. But it'll come back to us. I'm hoping. You've been well.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Reasonably so.
Usually I talk about days at this point.
Days.
Like tomorrow, Monday, February 26th, is National Letter to an Elder Day.
Oh.
So you're supposed to send a letter, write and send a letter to an elder.
Okay. In your family or just an elder?
Doesn't say. It's send a letter to an elder day, National Letter to an Elder Day, but we're wrapping up Inco Rimo, so I thought I'd bring that up. How'd you do?
I did fantastic.
Did you?
I wrote once in my Hobonichi. No, I did. I did terrible.
Because this was just not today.
Oh my goodness!
This is what came yesterday. I'll just show them upside down because I'm doing quite well at receiving.
Wow! Yeah.
But I send a postcard a day, and so that anybody who sends me something will eventually get a postcard. Right. I don't usually sit down and do 15 in one day, but I will do one a day during the month of Inco Rimo.
I had no expectations for this year, and I have met those expectations.
Excellent. And I suppose whatever I send tomorrow should be to an elder.
Yes, I could send one to you.
I was going to say, beat me to it. This Thursday, of course, is February 29th. I'm only pointing that out because it's leap year day. It only comes once every 4 years. And I haven't actually looked to see if it's in my Hobonichi. I imagine it is. It would surprise me if it isn't.
It'd have to be.
In March, next month, we look forward to the following. Sunday, March 10th, most of us here in the States are going to have to change our clocks.
Yes.
It's spring ahead, so we lose an hour. Daylight savings time. Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. That's not always a Sunday. It's always the 17th.
It's always the 17th.
Always the 17th. And March 31st, something that is always on a Sunday, Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Easter Sunday. I've already mentioned Inco Rimo. Also, future dates. The Baltimore Pen Show is coming up in March. It's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The Atlanta Pen Show is March 22nd and 24th. And then if we jump to May, the Chicago Pen Show. That's May 2nd to the 5th. Rumor is that you'll be there.
I will be there.
As probably an attendee.
Yes. Yeah. I had debated, actually, and you'll see why in a bit, but I debated potentially getting a table at the show, but there is a wait list, so I will probably not pursue that option.
If you had a table, what would you do at said table?
I have a massive collection of vintage pens that I need to.
Oh, you would sell vintage?
That I need to get rid of. Oh. Yeah. So.
Well, there's still time. Are you
probably in excess of 700 pens.
You need a table for that.
so I am debating the values of selling them unrestored or spending what is going to amount to the better part of a year and a half trying to restore all of them. I may just sell them unrestored and move them along. So.
Well, surely you have some favorites in there, though.
Oh yeah, they're right. Okay. They're right in here.
Those are being restored and kept, I imagine.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Oh, okay. But you will restore them.
So.
Well, I'm going to show up at the Chicago Pen Show, too. So.
When are you going? Saturday? Sunday?
Thursday.
You're going Thursday?
Yeah.
The first day?
Well, they do that pizza party.
Yeah, that kind of makes it worth it.
And then you're there for Friday morning. Are they going to do an auction?
I don't know.
I was about to say, when's the auction? I don't know.
I went to the website not too long ago, and I don't remember if there was any auction information. Usually there's one on Saturday night.
Saturday night.
That's when the auction is.
Yeah, I like Fridays at shows. And it's a little far to get Friday morning, so I'm just going to go Thursday, spend the night, and I'll be there.
Thursday's a little barren at the show. But
I don't expect show action on
the nice thing about Thursday is it's worth the effort to go because you never know who's showing up on Thursday. Because on Thursday, everybody actually has the right to sit down and take a table.
A whole table or half a table? Whatever. It is. Yeah.
There's not enough people there's not enough people there to fill the whole room.
Right.
So I could theoretically bring these 700 pens and lay them out on Thursday. So that's an option.
Might happen, but if you're selling these in in May, they're unrestored.
Yeah.
You said it would take you years.
Yeah, it's take, if you restore 2-3 pence a day,
Yeah.
it's 10 pence a week. That's 60, 70 weeks. Yeah,
that's a long time.
But Thursdays, you'll see people who are selling off collections. People are coming in and they get rid of that stuff early, and that's what happens on Thursdays. Parts and serious vintage collectors on Thursdays.
People who might be looking for unrestored vintage.
Yes, people might be looking for unrestored vintage.
And some people who might have it.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in unrestored because I'd have to say, fix it for me.
Right. But plenty of time on those early days to chat and talk with people.
Yeah, pen shows for me are mostly social. You go to see the community that you know mostly online.
Yeah.
And yes, there are plenty of pens to look at, and I usually...
Well, there's only so much money. That's the problem.
so much money, but plenty of friends. Generally, we have been showing one of your wristwatches during brunch. I see you're wearing one.
I have the Grand Seiko SBGM 221.
That means nothing to me. I assume it tells time?
Yes, it does tell time. It does also have the GMT function, which astute observers will note that I do not have it set to GMT. I actually have it set to Tokyo time.
So it doesn't have to be GMT. Any other time
it could be a
zone?
second time zone. Second time zone. And then, of course, date function. But real nice automatic.
It is beautiful. Yeah. When you say automatic, it winds itself?
Yeah, it winds itself. And then
if you wear it.
If you wear it, then there's the rotor.
Oh, so that must save wear and tear on the leather, this clasp thing.
Yeah. This is a great deployment clasp, but just really nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh, the back of it. I didn't see the back.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Yeah.
I was looking at that right away.
Yeah, it's your rotor.
Oh, so as you wear it, it just swings around.
It swings around
and
gradually
winds
winds itself.
Very nice. Very nice. Is this a new acquisition, or perhaps we've seen this?
No, I'm sure I've seen it before.
Have you had any new watch acquisitions?
Not that I'm gonna. No, I haven't had this. This very well may have been the last new watch that I bought. I don't remember. So.
I have a quick reminder that please like this video and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And that's all I'll say about that. But you really should subscribe. We're a good channel. Yeah. And then I'm going to say, you have a joke. We usually bring jokes, but this time you prefaced it with, this is a joke that I really wanted to tell on APTV.
Well, there's two. There's one that I wanted to tell, and then one
that you don't want to tell.
Well, I don't.
Hit me with a joke.
Silly. All right. So, what is an octopus's? Now, this is with Valentine's Day being recent. What is an octopus's favorite love song?
What?
I want to hold your hand.
Very good. You got it all out. I have one for you.
Okay.
If you're in the mood for it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's any better than you. What do you call someone who's half Italian and half Icelandic?
I have no idea.
Italic.
Oh,
Italic. I like that one.
Okay.
Because I like italic.
Italic.
And then you brought something for show and tell, a pen of some kind.
I sort of may have failed miserably at that task, but I actually have one of my favorite TWSBIs actually today.
Draco.
The Draco. The limited edition Draco.
And they're not making this.
No, they don't make
this. This was a one-off type thing?
This was, I believe, the second model in this particular configuration. They made a green one, what they called the Aurora, I believe. That was before this. And then the Draco came out, which was very limited. I don't know the numbers that they made, but very limited. And then recently we had the Kai, which was the blue marble version.
This is beautiful. Yeah. Rose gold?
Or
rose gold color?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of rose gold.
And why is this one of your favorites?
I like the marbling. It reminds me of some of the older Auroras, the Optimas. They had that nice marbling, and vintage pens have this kind of similar marbling, and I just like it. So, and it's a little something different than a standard TWSBI.
It is different and very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. I also brought something. as you know, I don't think I told anybody else, I recently had a less than ideal experience with one of the new Omas pens.
Yes. You did tell me.
It'll be dealt with. It'll be fixed. But
Yeah.
I got an Omas at the Philly show. And I mean a new Omas from the people who are making Omas now, because that used to be a different company, and now it is whoever it is. But something happened at the Philly show. I saw this, and it's the right shape. It's that Ogiva, the cigar shape, and I really like that shape. So I said, why not? I'll try it. And I was happy with it. But a little problem. You saw the problem.
I did see the problem.
The problem will be fixed. But that problem won't be fixed right away. So I went online and started looking for the one I really wanted.
The real deal?
A real deal.
The real deal. Oh,
and
look at
so
that.
I got an Omas. And I didn't realize it at the time that it was new old stock.
Oh, it was new old stock.
So when it arrived, I was just flabbergasted because it's got the paper cover. It's 127 of 327.
Oh, I was going to say maybe you bought this and it turned out it had an Anderson Penn's business card in it.
No, this came from Italy. Beautiful box.
Oh, yeah.
The original.
I remember these.
Yeah. It was like stepping back in time.
Yes.
So this is an Alba. And aside from the pen, it has
a cool tray that you can flip over and you put two on one side.
You remember these. Has all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Something in the back here is, maybe it's a different book. Something is filled out with the, here, this is signed. Something in here is also signed by whoever the original one was. And so this arrived, and I'm going to ask the audience what I should do with it because I am reticent to ink it. I mean, I really want to write with it, but it's a medium nib. It might be the last one that hasn't been inked. I don't know.
Well, I would say then put an orange ink in there.
Put an orange ink.
Put an orange ink in there.
Oh, you were working the piston. Oh, he broke it. Oh, no.
Held up better than the other one.
Well, yeah,
that's nice.
This is an original.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it is beautiful.
Yeah, I think I had one in teal.
Well, if you may recall, I had from the cocktail series, I had the lemon vodka.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you switched the nib out for me.
Because they had those, they were big on those, the flexible nibs at the time.
Yeah, that's right. So that's my dilemma.
Wow.
Do I ink it, or are there really people who buy pens and just keep them?
Yes.
There are.
Yeah.
I use all my pens.
I don't know that the value on that pen is going to be diminished greatly by inking it.
Oh, okay.
It was not one of their more expensive models. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, that's for sure, but it was not one of their more expensive models. I can't imagine if you took excellent care of it, that inking it, as long as you clean it out.
Keeping it in the box is taking pretty excellent care of it.
Yes. But I mean, if you're using it and you're not going to use it and you clean it out and it's, and it runs out clean, I say,
well, you might inspire me to ink it.
Yes.
I was just a little nervous. It was like stepping back in time. This should not be.
Yeah, I remember when we had those. I remember. Yeah, fun.
Show and tell is next. No, we just did show and tell.
Does that mean I have to buy a pen?
Yeah, buy a pen. I actually requested this topic because it's the Parker Lucky Curve. And I remember being new to fountain pens. And at the beginning, I only liked and wanted vintage pens. And so I ran across something called the Lucky Curve. And nothing that I ran across really explained what it was. And the first time I asked about it was at the LA Pen Show. And I asked knowledgeable people, but I think I had a pen in my hand. And first time ever I go to a pen show. And I'm standing in front of knowledgeable vintage people whom shall remain nameless. And I said, is this a Lucky Curve? And they all kind of chuckled because it's apparently the wrong question to ask. And so I never really got the answer.
And what was it?
I have no idea.
Do you remember the pen?
No.
Was it a Lucky Curve?
It might have been. Might have been. But apparently a Lucky Curve is not a pen. It's something else. So please give us an education.
All right. So
what a Lucky Curve is.
I'll preface this by saying I did some cheat notes here. because this is a quite wide and varied topic. Lucky Curve actually primarily refers to Parker's patented feed.
It's a feed
design. It's a feed, but Parker then later went and said, okay, well, this is the Lucky Curve pen.
Okay.
So yes, it is both. It primarily refers to a feed, which all of their pens had for a while.
For a while, all of the Parkers had a Lucky Curve feed in them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, I profess to be an amateur when it comes to Parker collecting, but I brought some pens in from my collection, and then I have another collection that we're going to look at too. But I thought I would start and we'd give a couple highlights of what was going on during this time period. George Parker was actually an agent for John Holland pens in the 1880s, and he sold and modified. He ended up modifying feeds on John Holland pens, and then sold them to make extra money. He did his. He came up with his first patent in 1889, incorporated in 1892, and the Lucky Curve came out in 1894. So that's our initial.
1894.
1894 is when.
And at this point, it's just a feed.
It's just a feed, essentially a feed. Yeah. So let's see here. I'm going to bring this one out here first. So this is the earliest example here. This is a taper cap with an overfeed. And so this would be, unscrew this.
Okay.
The Lucky Curve is this curve here. And so what this is when you hold the pen upright, the ink drains down and into the barrel and it's not going to burp back up. So that was this whole idea, was this little curve at the end of the feed.
And it's a lucky one, apparently.
And it's very lucky, yeah. And so this is an exceptionally early example. With the overfeed, this probably places it very close to that 1894 date. Very, very, very hard to find pen, this one is.
And so they just started putting those in all their,
yeah. So
how soon after did he start making pens?
Well, he actually started making pens in 1888.
Okay.
But the company incorporated in 1892. So, there was a couple years worth of pens that some of them are essentially modified John Hollands, and some of them had just had other feeds. But here's an early eyedropper, which again, now this one has the typical underfeed.
Right.
And it has
this is the Lucky Curve.
That's the Lucky Curve, yeah. And then, of course, Parker put the Lucky Curve banner on all their pens.
Okay, but this pen is not a Lucky Curve.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, this is...
Yeah, well, I mean, technically it's a Model 20.
Okay.
But it's a Lucky Curve, yeah.
Something they actually called
They called Lucky Curve, yeah.
So originally it was just the feed, and now it is the feed and the pen.
Yeah, so... and sorry, some of these pens are kind of dirty, but so eyedroppers in general from Parker are really pretty hard to find. Here's another one.
Is this also called a Lucky Curve?
Yeah, these are all Lucky Curves.
It has a Lucky Curve feed.
Here's your Lucky Curve.
And it's from about what year?
These are between so the jackknife safety cap. So these are all slip caps. Came into play in 1912. So these are all fit neatly in between, 1890. Well, these are much later than 1894, but before 1912. So
before 1912.
There's quite a range of time there. So all fairly simple pens. Eyedroppers, yeah. Now this here has the jack. This is an interesting pen. This has what they call the jackknife safety cap, and the safety cap essentially was a screw cap instead of the traditional slip cap.
So it didn't slip off?
So it was safer. It wouldn't. It was supposed to be much more break resistant, and it wouldn't leak in your pocket. So they marked them jackknife safety on the side. And then you still had...
Okay, but so it's not a safety filler.
No, it's not a safety in the sense that you hold it upright and rotate a button on the bottom, but these were called safeties.
Interesting.
During the time, as opposed to, say, what they might call the regular type, which would just be a slip cap eyedropper.
So was this the first time we had threads on a cap?
So yeah, this one, yeah. So well, for Parker, yeah, 1912 is when you get that
So
feature.
now we call them a twist cap.
Yeah,
You call it a safety cap.
yeah, they call it a safety. Yeah.
Now,
So-
but is this a lucky curve pen? With
yes. Yeah. Well,
jackknife?
technically they called it a
Jackknife.
jackknife safety at that
Jackknife
point. But does this one have? This one's weird because it doesn't have much of a. Oh, it does. Yeah, it does have the Lucky Curve imprint on there.
Interesting.
But it's a flat top, no clip. It's a clipless eyedropper, essentially. In 1905, we got the button filler. So here's a really weird, unusual Lucky Curve in that it's a button filler, but with a slip cap. And there's your button on the end.
And a lucky curve
And
feed.
a Lucky Curve feed. I can't take this one apart, obviously, but
But we know what it looks like now.
we know what it looks like. Now, the interesting thing is, oftentimes, because of the way this is designed, and let's go back to, let's jump ahead here. Let's see if I can pull this one. This one is what's called a turbine top. Has this special top here. So what would happen is, if a customer needed a nib repair, the only problem with this feed is this feed goes in the back.
Okay.
Most traditional feeds, if you need to take them out, essentially you knock them out, out the front. Well, you can't do that with this feed. You essentially have to pull it out the back, pull the nib out, and then pull. It's a very, very complicated procedure. So what you often find on these, and particularly in some of these pens that we can't open up that are button fillers, is in order to get the feed out, they cut the curve off.
Oh.
They made it flat, and then they knocked out the feed. So that's always something to look for. And I think there is one or two pens in here that they cut that off. It just makes it easier to get it out.
And doesn't affect the...
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Not really.
So it was a marketing gimmick.
A little bit.
Doesn't really help anything.
It actually did work. It actually did work. But cutting it off doesn't harm the pen. Yeah. So this is another neat. This is a button filler, jackknife, and then these were a lot of these will say Lucky Curve on the nib.
On the nib. Oh.
On the nib. This one I brought just because it's a really interesting piece. Do you know what model number this is?
No idea.
This is a Parker 51.
That is a Oh, yes, that's a Parker 51.
This is a Parker 51, yeah. This is the rare 51, which is a jackknife safety with this special band around the barrel for special occasions.
Okay.
To Eric from Brian.
This is a jackknife,
This is a jackknife because it's got the screw cap.
but you're calling it a 51.
It's a Model 51,
Model 51.
and it's actually still has the original blind cap, which says 51 on it.
Okay.
So Parker did for a while, just like Waterman stamped the number.
Jackknives were many different models.
Yep, lots of models. So all these with clips are all jackknives.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So jackknife was not one particular model.
No.
What made a pen
Jackknife is a screw cap.
the screw cap?
It's this cap, yeah, instead of a slip cap. So, and they're usually marked on the side of the barrel, or on the side of the cap, I mean.
This 51 also has a Lucky Curve feed in it.
Yes, yep. It'll have a Lucky Curve feed if we were to take it apart.
Right.
But yeah. And then there's one in here that's. Well, we should show this because this is just downright pretty. This is a very early Parker 15 eyedropper. I don't think this one comes apart. But yeah, this will have a Lucky Curve. That says Lucky Curve on
It says it on the nib.
the nib. Yeah.
But it's not a jackknife.
No, it's not a jackknife because it's slip cap.
Slip cap.
Slip cap. Yeah. So this is pre 1912. So this is 1905 to 1910 when they made that pen.
Very nice.
This one you're looking at, you're wondering, well, why is this one in here? Because these are all hard rubber. These are all ebonite. In 1924, Schaefer came out with the jade material for their oversized flat top.
Okay.
And this is a very heavily discolored jade barrel. Yeah. So the barrel should be this color.
Interesting.
But it's discolored over time. But when Parker came out with this a year after Schaefer came out with their jade, they weren't quite sure how the material was going to do. So instead of stamping this with a dual fold name, they actually left it as what we call now a pre-dual fold Lucky Curve.
Oh.
It's not a dual fold. It's not marked dual fold, and it actually has a Lucky Curve nib. So this is one of those unusual exceptions.
And we assume there's a Lucky Curve feed in there.
There will be a Lucky Curve feed on this. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And
or there should be, although this feed looks a little bit newer. This looks like a Vacuumatic maybe era feed.
well, that's the next question. When did they stop making a Lucky Curve feed?
Well, it would be probably in the 1930s because they started moving into the dual folds. You still have them on the dual folds, and then when you start moving into the later dual folds, they switch to a different body design altogether. So your striped dual folds is a different feed, and then into Vacuumatics. So that started to go away in the 30s already.
And nobody missed it.
Nobody missed it. Nobody missed it at all. So these examples here, I mean, and I just brought multiple examples of just different models. These are from my collection, but then I brought some other pretties here. These are from a collection we just got. So these will be eventually, some of these will be for sale, but these are all Lucky Curve pens.
Okay.
We'll just start with the elephant in the room. This guy here, which is an outstanding example. This is a 15 or 16. Lucky Curve imprint on the red hard rubber barrel. We've got it on the keyhole vent hole nib here. Lucky Curve on the nib. Very rare to find a red hard rubber Parker eyedropper in any condition.
Much less this condition.
Much less this condition. The only problem is this particular one used to have.
Oh, used to have a clip.
Used to have a clip, and by the looks of it, it was probably the most desirable clip you could have.
Oh, really?
One of the most desirable clips you can have in a Parker pen. That probably the Van Valkenburg, the VV clip, was probably on this pen at some point. And then those clips are so valuable; they're worth several $100s. But why somebody would have taken it off of this pen?
Put it on another pen.
I have no idea. So, but this is a Lucky Curve, and I don't. Oh, this does open up, but you just don't see red hard rubber Parkers. But there's another early,
an undamaged Lucky Curve.
and that one's a little bit different because you can see how it thins out kind of right in here. It's a little bit different shape.
So they actually changed.
They changed the shape, yeah. So, well, they had to because the next two pens here are hard not to miss. The Parker Black Giant.
It's a giant.
It's a giant.
Whoa.
This one doesn't open. This is the large version of the giant, and then this is the short version of the giant. They're actually two sizes. This one opens up. And these are eyedroppers. I mean, look at that
Huge.
a lot of threads. And then there's that big honking.
Yeah, it's a periscope.
Christmas tree feed.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah. So you just fill that up.
How much ink would that hold?
Well, this one will hold a lot more, but these came out in 1905, and believe it or not, Parker preceded these with the Red Giant, made out of red hard rubber, but those were actually proved to be too brittle. They broke, and they actually had to warranty almost all of them.
Really?
So they came out with the Black Giant, and believe it or not, the Black Giant was in production from 1905 until 1921.
Wow.
Can you imagine having that in the catalog for 16 years?
So there are quite a few of them.
They're not terribly uncommon, but you can imagine not many people bought them.
No.
There's that very early one again. This one is also very early. This one looks like it was made yesterday.
It does.
This is actually pre-stamping of Lucky Curve on the barrel.
But it has a lucky curve in it.
It probably does. Any of these that have the 1894 patent date on the barrel, this January 9th, 1994 patent date, that's the patent date for the lucky curve.
Gotcha.
Here's another unusual early two-line imprint.
Unusual in that it has no cap.
Well, it has no cap, but it's got this weird taper here, an odd shaped section here. Let's see if this one has this one still has the lucky curve. Yeah.
Interesting pen.
Yeah, this one's very interesting, and it's not marked. It's very early, very early. These next two, was it next two? Not this one.
This one's pretty.
This one's another early
Is
pen.
that post? I wouldn't do it. But
yeah, I wouldn't do it.
It was meant to post.
It was meant to post. Yeah. Looks like it had a clip at one point, was broken or something. And this is again an early piece. Just finding any hard rubber.
Oh, it seems
that one's
longer
a little
than
bit
most.
different. Yeah. And this one, still has that Christmas tree feed on that end too.
Interesting. Pretty pen.
Now the next two are really interesting pieces, and I've never actually had one, and so to have two of these to show is super cool. In 1899, and this is a ridiculous story. It's a really ridiculous story. So in 1899, Parker came out with this pen called the Jointless. Now,
I'm sorry. Did you say the jointless?
The jointless. Yeah. So before this wonderful new technology came about, this is our pen, right? And to fill it, we have to unscrew this. We get our eyedropper that comes with the pen, and we fill it. Now, the big complaint at the time was that now they didn't have little tubes of silicone grease that you could buy at the time.
It leaked.
It would leak at the section barrel juncture where you hold the pen, and your hands would be inky. So this led to all sorts of interesting ideas. One of them was called a middle joint eyedropper, where it actually threaded in the middle. And then there was like it was a much longer tube that went down. It was a very strange piece. And so that there would be no leaking, because it would have to leak all the way up to halfway up the barrel. Well, Parker came out in 1899 with this genius idea, being somewhat facetious, to avoid. And keep in mind, the only idea here is to keep ink off of your fingers, right?
Right.
So they eliminated the joint altogether.
How'd they do that?
This is one piece. So in order to fill the pen, so you don't get your hands inky, you grab the nib and feed, and you pull it out, and there's the lucky curve on this jointless nib unit.
So it's actually
messier.
Well, it's messier when you want to fill it, but it's designed to be removed for filling.
It's probably the very first nib unit we can say that was designed to be removed for
Did not last long?
I can't seem to indicate when they stopped making it, but it was not
jointless.
The button filler came out in 1905. So and based on the just sheer lack of examples of this type of system,
it fits right back in.
And interesting with this, it's actually a little bit out of round, so it actually only fits
one way.
One way, and so they identified the jointless by adding a 0 to the first part of the number.
Fascinating.
So instead of a 23, it's a 023.
It's cool.
Great idea, but I guess not a great idea. It's kind of a stupid idea.
Well, you'd have to use a towel.
Your hands would get inky, yeah. So here's another one, and modeled hard rubber, which is even rarer, and it just pulls out.
And this is for some reason better than a safety filler.
Better than a regular eyedropper. That's what they thought anyway. Apparently, it was really. Apparently, they must have had some prototypes or something, pre-production models, before it was patented in 1899, because the advertisements talk about it being used to sign a peace treaty in 1898.
Wow.
So, and they were apparently very popular with government. They had contracts to sell them with the government. So, but you did never find them. Never ever find them.
Never find them. I'd never heard of them. Jointless.
Yeah, I never expected. Unfortunately, this one's got a terribly broken cap, but. But then here's some more. I mean, just these models.
This is not a jointless.
This is not a jointless. And this one, very unusual. It doesn't quite come all the way up.
I suppose it has a curve in it still.
And it's slightly curved, yeah.
This one's cute.
Yeah, so the next ones I thought you'd find fun. Little filigree baby.
Yeah, that's cute.
Isn't that nice? Lovely. Eyedropper.
Lucky curve. So
there you go.
Is there a model number on there?
This one is 16. So now keep in mind with Parker, they have maybe the world's most confusing numbering system. Unlike Waterman, who had a very clear, concise system where you can identify.
This is not consistent. Well,
this is not consistent because
we had 51 earlier that didn't look like a 50.
Well, that's different because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Waterman did
40 years down the line.
Waterman could tell the future.
The problem is this is a 16. Well, a 16 also comes in full size. It comes clipless. It comes in a short size. It comes in all sorts of different versions. And most of these pens here, a lot of these that we showed earlier, these are 20s, but they're all different. This is 20 and a half.
20 and a half, of course.
Half means chased.
Okay.
But a lot of these are 20s.
Was it trying to get away? I'm glad this has got gold instead of silver.
Well, you normally like silver.
That's why I'm glad it has gold.
That's why I brought some silver ones.
I see those.
Here's another one these are just so hand engraved with clip and ring top.
That is an amazing pen.
Yeah, this one's really nice. It
looks more Italian than American.
No, this is kind of a standard pattern. Waterman had a similar pattern, Pansy, what they call Pansy panel.
And what model number is that?
This one, I don't know what model number this is.
Mystery model. Yeah. The ring top model.
Yeah, then they get bigger. There's another one. I mean, there's just, and these are available in button fillers too. One of these is cut off somewhere.
We'll get there. Scavenger hunt.
The next three I brought just for you. I'm like, wow.
You know what I like.
We're talking about a lot of these, but this one is outstanding. This is a button filler.
Okay.
And so they actually did the overlay over the outside of the button, but not on the bottom. So some examples have the sterling all the way on the bottom. You can see the hard rubber there. But smooth. Looks like at one point had an accommodation clip.
Oh, yes.
These could be polished up nicely.
And do we assume there's a Lucky Curve feed in there?
Yeah, this is going to be Lucky Curve, yeah. And then this also has the Heath hallmark. So the overlay on these were made by Heath. For Parker. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. This one is lovely. Also a ring top and a clip, but then it has this cool pattern. And then this one has the sterling all the way on the bottom too. Blind cap. Blind cap is perfectly.
Gorgeous. Also a Lucky Curve.
Yep. So technically these would be considered jackknives. Yeah, and then this one, really outstanding. It has a little bit of wear to it, but really outstanding acid etched button filler, jackknife Lucky Curve. See the Christmas tree feed there.
Did this one have a Christmas tree feed?
I think, yeah, they usually do. Is this on your Christmas list? Oh, this one did not. Yeah, so this is actually this nib and feed have been replaced.
Okay.
But some people these might not appear to be too impressive, but
they are to me for the age and the technology that was used.
Yeah.
I like to use my pen, so I wouldn't have a use for them. I wouldn't ink them.
Yeah, I mean this is just outrageous. I mean this is brand new.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
And to have something like this is as early as 1894 with an overfeed is outrageous. It's just a spectacular pen.
1894-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were to acquire any of those, I'd ink them up and use them.
Yeah, and I pulled most of these because these were eyedroppers, and you can at least see the Lucky Curve. But like I said, these also came in similar patterns, but in button fillers. So you could get a pen that's modern filling system.
So to sum up, what's a lucky curve?
Lucky curve is
What is a Parker lucky curve? Because I think I was holding a pen and I said, "Is this a lucky curve?" And maybe they didn't know if I meant the pen or if I didn't know what the feed was. How would you have answered that?
You could interpret it a number of different ways. So for me, a lucky curve, a Parker lucky curve is any pen from say 1894 to up until we start getting into the dual fold area in 1921.
Okay. So pre-dual fold.
Pre-dual fold is going to have a lucky. It should.
The lucky curve
Whether it has
feed.
it now anymore, should have the lucky curve feed on it. So, and then they started out with it's a lucky curve, but then they also modeled them. So Parker called them, this is a 24. So internal Parker called this a 24,
but it is a lucky curve.
but it's technically a jackknife with a lucky curve
With a lucky
feed. Yeah.
But if from what year-ish?
This 19, we're looking 1920.
Okay, it's 1920, whatever.
Ish.
And you have a pen shop, and I want to buy a pen. How would you describe this to me? Would you say it's a Parker 24?
This is a Parker 24.
You would have called it a 24.
Yeah. Because that's the most precise way we can identify
the
this.
jackknife and the lucky curve are kind of like features of the 24.
Yes, yeah. And you'll see, and on all of these, pre-duofold, you will see, except for some ladies editions, you will see the word lucky curve inside the banner.
But it's still not a lucky curve pen.
Well, it is technically, sort of. Yes.
It's a 24.
It's confusing.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
But if I own that pen and someone said, "What is that?" Would I have said it's a lucky curve, Parker lucky curve, or would I have said it's a Parker?
I would say it's a lucky curve 24 because it's not a dual fold.
It's a lucky curve 24.
Yeah, it's Parker 24 lucky curve. Yeah, or jackknife.
Interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Now I need something with a lucky curve.
So,
because I've never had one.
And then you probably should get an eyedropper because then at least you can see it.
You can see it. And I like eyedroppers. I think.
Get yourself a nice modeled hard rubber Parker eyedropper.
Trying to sell this pen, are you?
No, this is mine.
Oh, that's good.
I went a long time before I finally got a modeled hard rubber Parker. So
I don't know. I'm partial to these guys over here. This one with the clip is cool.
Yeah.
I think it has the wrong nib and feed in it.
It's just cool. And again, these here in this tray, these came to us on consignment. And they're actually part of a collection that we'll be selling hopefully soon. Definitely, I'll have some in Chicago, but from the estate of the former CFO of Parker. He was a CFO in the 60s and into the 70s, and there are actually some personalized pens with his name on it from Kenneth Parker, and a lot of interesting Parkers in the collection. So,
well, he was a collector, though.
Yes, he was also a collector. This was well before his time.
Yeah, well before his time.
Yeah, well, it was before his time, but yeah, he did collect early Parkers among other things. So
thank you for the education.
Yeah. Hope it's not too confusing.
No, you've managed to clear it up. Now I know what I want to buy.
All of them.
All of these. No, I don't need all of them.
Yeah.
This one is interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if it's functional.
I mean, and look at this. Look how thick this rubber is to have this big, huge of a chunk
no
here,
hole in it?
and there's no hole. Yeah.
Do you assume it works?
What's an eyedropper? Now, this one, this one there is an issue with. The nib does need to be retipped.
Oh.
So this one it will not be usable because there's tipping missing at one time. But yeah, as long as the nib is straight, fill it up with ink, boom, good to go. Clean it out. I'm going to clean these obviously, but
I think you've clarified things.
Give you. There's a wide range, but it's the kind of that period of time and very early period, and that's what they made their mark on.
I've narrowed down my search now. I brought another joke.
Okay, yeah, I have one.
I'll go first this time. You might know the answer to this. Why was corduroy so popular in the 60s?
Oh, it's all the rub, all the rage.
It's groovy.
It's groovy. Oh. This one I was going to say for APTV, but
Okay.
I like it. I thought you might enjoy this one.
Let's have it.
Did you know that spaces? This is crazy. I heard this in the news the other day. Spaces between ladder rungs have increased over the years because Americans are getting taller. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
It's the craziest thing. You look it up.
Is there a name for
look
it?
it up. The manufacturers are claiming it's due to climate change.
Climate change. That's a good one. That's a good one. You should still tell that on APTV. Just see Lisa's reaction to it. That's all I've got. We should say that we'll probably be back again.
Yeah.
Sunday
that's fine.
brunch.
Yep.
The next Sunday brunch, let's do it. We were saying the last Sunday of each month, and that'll be Easter.
Okay. Well,
You have no plans for Easter.
I have no plans for
I have
Easter.
no plans.
I think
be
you're
here.
probably coming over. If you have any plans, you'll
We'll
be
be
part of
back
them.
for Sunday brunch on Easter Sunday next month. That's all I've got.
Great.
Bye.